What would a 4-time Olympian and triple world champion athlete know about elite athletics? Well, Spikes and Spokes and Allison Sidor, please tell me how many Olympic trials you've competed in. If the answer is less than 1, STFU. It is completely irrelevant to this conversation, but since you asked, I have competed in 4 Olympic Games, have 1 Olympic medal, 3 world titles, and a 20-year career as an elite/pro athlete. I'll keep speaking up on this issue that affects all the female athletes coming after me. TY. Mark is an openly gay media analyst and writer. Random thought. The obsession with Harry Styles' sexuality fascinates me, because it's where a new generation's golden rule, sexuality is fluid. You can choose from dozens of identities, etc. Crashes into an older rule, tell us who you are so we can decide what we think of you. Unless you're queer, you should be listening to queer fans on this topic, not commenting on it. There are things that impact us that others don't understand or care about. Not to worry. You got owned, Kelly. Just to be clear, Judd tweets lefty-slanted popular information and opinion for a living. He's about as far from a lawyer as you could possibly get, lol. So please don't take his take on anything. Just to be clear, I am a lawyer. I'm a graduate of Georgetown Law and a member of the Maryland Bar. Trying to dunk on an invincible artist for using their own art. It hurts, but I had to do it. AI art, actual artists. Look at what they need to mimic a fraction of our power. Very ironic you made this post without using your own art. Actually, I, Jesse Lamb, am on the art team. Some people just like to talk. I just like to hear themselves talk. Like to hear themselves yip yap. OP claimed a handler who was bitten by his cobra died within 30 minutes and was refuted in the comments. The link is a peer-reviewed paper on snake deaths in India. BS bot reposter. Indian cobras almost never kill with their poison. Even if they do, it's not going to be in 30 minutes. On top of that, this is a snake handler. He has high immunity because he was bitten a lot before and he should have antidotes ready. WTF, are you an expert on cobras now? It's the most dangerous snake in the world. Unfortunately for you, yes. It's not every day you find someone pull out their peer-reviewed research article to refute your bogus claim. Must be a bad day for OP, lol. Did Paul Graham actually read Paul Graham essays written by Paul Graham? We'll never know. What are the best Paul Graham essays to read? Recommendations, please. Tri-Cities and Ambition, How to Do Great Work, and How to Write Usefully. Have you actually read those? Yes, I've read all 3. I like that Paul Graham is just so fed up. He's like, are you f***ing stupid? Not only have I read them, I wrote them. You most certainly did not take that, as that's a rather famous photograph by the Canadian photographer Luke Anthony Graham. You didn't look at my profile yet, did ya? Nope, and it's too funny. I recognized the photo as yours instantly. Never thought it would actually be you, my dude. I like your work and hate when people steal others' work, as it's just crass to take credit for what others do. It's worse to steal and sell it, but to do it for points is bad enough. I'm actually glad I was wrong. All good, my man. I hate when people steal others' work too, so you're just doing your part. He kills all of them, effortlessly, without using his Pokemon. He's incredibly durable and powerful, like Galaxy level. Ash isn't remotely close to Galaxy level durability. Read his respect thread. You mean the one I made? I.e. the one in the OP? I don't think I put any Galaxy level feats in there. What the hell are these guys talking about? Ash is a 10-year-old child. What? This video was stolen from Marie Pax on TikTok. Marie Pax on Instagram. Walking to the police station to turn myself in. Contrary to popular belief, I give up on trying to find locations a lot, but this one specifically, I've not been able to give up on. I'm opening it to the public. A follower sent me this in December. She lost her mom 5 years ago and wants to know where they took this. Someone tag that kid who can look at literally any photo with almost no context and find the exact location. Brother, it's the guy, it's him. Does he know? You are the one. I didn't realize. It happened. A reviewer suggested that I familiarize myself with the work of Pownall et al. 2019-2020 to understand the field better. Where does that name come from? Oh yeah, that's the same person! Asking Peter Crouch if he has been to a Premier League game. I know it's only a game and some things are much bigger, but imagine all our games went ahead this weekend. Black armbands, silences observed, national anthem, royal band playing, etc. to the millions around the world watching. Isn't that a better send-off? Silences wouldn't be observed though, would they? Have you ever been to a Premier League game? Have you never been to Switzerland or seen the rail system there? Well, at least you used Mr. And yes, I have 15 years of working on the rail system and can tell you between the rails is the dirtiest, nastiest, most unsafe place to put anything needing light and not to be impacted by everything that falls from rail cars and locomotives. You have a most pleasant day. In a conversation about dinosaurs, A paleontologist comes in to talk about Utahraptor sizes, and the OP cites his own artwork back at him without realizing. Surprisingly wholesome ending, though. After a discussion with some friends, I wanted to ask your opinion, who would win? A polar bear or a Utahraptor? Well, I'd vote for Utahraptor. This one looks a bit large, like 7+ meters, when it was probably in the 5 to 6 meter range. It's fairly accurate for its size. The tail is a tiny bit longer, but that's likely due to the feathers on it. Oh yeah, Utahraptor Skeletal by Scott Hartman. I'm sorry, Scott, for going against you. You obviously know more about Utahraptor than me. I didn't mean to use your own skeletal against you for comedic purposes. I legit just didn't read your name. My apologies. It's fine, and it gave me a good chuckle this morning. I think the Utahraptor life reconstruction in the original image is lovely, just a bit too big overall. Maybe we will find bigger specimens someday, but that probably shouldn't be the basis of this sort of comparison. I never argue against the paleontologist. I'm far from qualified to do that. Again, I'm sorry. It's all good. You'll have to see when it ends up wholesome. A man tries to tell what's so not that he's not even Jing. Deadass stumbled on these kids having a bunker rave in a forest and jumped on the decks. I love the way the DJ makes out like he's in the mix. It's called a breakdown, mate. The tune is a bamger, though. Always gets the crowd pumping. Actually, running a tight loop with space effects and reverb while increasing the pitch on wide mode, which creates a live, washed-out riser on the deck, I'm mixing out of. That and volume dynamic on the Tiesto tune to give the amps a break, which we're clipping, and ramping back up for the impact moment. Small details do make a big difference, keeping everyone amped and engaged, and God forbid I enjoy myself at this epic little rave. Always credit the artist. My deepest apology to @Hyona Elatiora. Thank you for the banger art. NG, the credit to some of the art in your thumbnail? I know you draw and do art yourself, so I expect you to be more attentive to things like giving credit to the artist. It's been irking me a bit. I hope you just forgot to do it, but even so, I think it's kind of a nasty thing to do, isn't it? Even if it was unintentional, please give the proper It was never my intention to hurt you. Your art is pog. I will credit them properly in the future. Again, I was in the wrong here. Oh, I see. She's adding herself. That's really funny. I love that. Regarding Oppenheimer, from someone who has a degree in film, it's one of the greatest movies ever made. Some people can't handle dialogue or 3-hour movies, and that's fine. It's not for everyone. But this was an absolute masterclass in writing, score, and cinematography as a whole. Lol, it's a perfectly good movie, but if you think it's one of the greatest films ever made, that degree didn't do you much good. Did me plenty good. Got me an Emmy Award. Agent Orange is nothing compared to the nerve gas the US sprayed during Vietnam. Thousands and thousands of gallons of nerve agent. The US did not use nerve agents in Vietnam. Lol, okay. I mean, I wrote a whole history of nerve agents. Happy to point you to my book and other books on the subject. Do more research. All right, brother. Just going to leave this here. Note the similarity of the author's name to mine. Toxic, a history of nerve agents from Germany to Putin's Russia. Dan Kazetta. Mark Rushanovich is CTO of Microsoft Azure. Software Development Engineer 2 is a position that matches about 3 years of industry experience. Looks like I need to fix up my profile. Hi there, this is Blank here from the Amazon recruitment team. I found your profile while searching for software engineers who might be interested in Software Development Engineer 2 at Amazon. Hence, wanted to check if you're willing to consider an opportunity with Amazon, as I am willing to guide you through the interview process, preparations, and help you to do the best. Advice on getting somewhere substantial for the person who wrote the book on Rust programming. I won't use software that's made by a company that intentionally mistreats its employees, and I will actively advocate against companies I work for using it. Cheers. OMG, you will never get anywhere substantial with that attitude. Long work hours can be a real joy if you love what you do. If you don't like it, don't apply. I graduated college 2 years ago and make 6 figures. I quite literally wrote the book on the Rust programming language. I'm somewhere substantial. When arguing about the boats crossing the English Channel, perhaps you guys should try reading the article. The bigger problem may be for the UK to prove that France is I wrote the article. As I said, the Dublin regulation applied to channel crossings, but the criteria were difficult to apply, not impossible. The House of Commons Library report says that 20% of Dublin transfers in 2019 were to France. Asking the producer if he's seen the film. Trust me, this is the most original movie you will see this year. Sean Patrick Flannery should win the Academy Award, and I'm not kidding. So you've seen the movie? Yes. I have seen it about 100 times. I made it. Did they die? That girl was completely still. Any idea what the word electrocuted means? Are you even remotely educated? I'm actually an electrician. I know more about this than you. No need to be an asshole. You can go catatonic from a massive shock, or your heart could give out. It's a genuine question whether she survived or not. Sim Racer tells a real-life GT driver that he's driving wrong. Sorry to say that, but IMO ACC is holding back your potential a lot. I was watching hours of GT3 onboards with pro drivers just alone this year, and they really drive iRacing lines nowadays. all of them, while your lines look like ACC a lot. Especially obvious at T1, but also other slower corners. This means late and straight braking, rotating the car more sharp into the corner for later apex, and early on the throttle. So less momentum style that you see to be used, and ACC is rewarding too much. Tires can only work best if the load is longitudinal or vertical, not mixed together too much. In ACC, it seems the tire model is not simulating sidewalls properly, so even punish people who use proper racing technique with tires that seem to work more like balls. Might be also the reason why the grip in the second lap was already out of peak, since more efficacy saves tires. iRacing isn't the only sim teaching a better technique, actually all of them minus ACC doing it better. But in iRacing, the competition is too tough, so you need to learn it or obviously suck. I'm adapting this technique in AMS2, and it's quicker there as well, but I haven't noticed because I was often the quickest already doing more lazy early apex. ACC is the best GT simulator out there, IMO. The thing holding back my potential is probably the fact that I haven't been in a car for 2 years. That was a mouthful. Twitter user urges the actor to see the original movie, Tamil, from which the new movie, Hindi, is remade from. Sadly, he forgot that the actor he was talking to, R. Madhavan, was the star of the original movie. Awesome trailer, guys. Dynamic and huge. Can't wait to see this in the theaters. All the very best. Vikram Vedha in cinemas worldwide on 30 September 2022. Sir, please see the original one. It was so much fun. In Stack Overflow comment, both were really cool about it. That did fix the issue, but could you explain why #definition/phone worked and the #definition/phone does not? All the documentation from the developer would imply otherwise. What documentation you refer to? I am the developer, by the way. That's by the spec. The reference within the current schema is hashtag followed by JSON pointer. JSON pointer starts from /. Great library. Thank you for contributing it to the rest of us. As for your question, I could have sworn that I saw that in examples of the jasonschema.org website, but for the life of me, can't find any examples as proof. So I must be going blind or insane. Thank you for the prompt response. Congressman complained that AOC won to AOC. At one point when Crowley was on stage, Ocasio-Cortez recalled that an older male member of Congress sat down next to her, gestured up at Crowley, and apparently not aware of who he was talking to, said, "It's a real shame that that girl won." I turned and said, "You know that's me, right?" She recalled, and obviously his face turns pale. I love AOC. She's great. She really is just wonderful. If you would have taken some STEM classes, you would understand the correlation does not equal causation. I'm a Caltech educated software engineer. I'm possible that I might understand why it is the lack of humanities literacy is causally correlated to a loss of social structure and vulnerability to fascism. Reddit user asks OP if he stole the idea of the mask from a band album cover, not realizing he was asking the creator of the art. Did you steal that mask from the Idola album? Nah, I made it. r/don'tyouknowwhoiam. Hey, that's the subreddit, guys. That's the one we're doing. Have you ever used this thing you made? I'm a freelance software developer who occasionally works alongside the in-house teams of larger organizations when the project calls for it. A few years ago, I wrote and released an open source package for a very specific use case in a very niche market space. During a recent Zoom call with an external team, the lead developer was going over the project specifications and pointed out a dependency they were using. He said something along the lines of, "We're using this, and I'm not sure who wrote it, but what it does, have you ever used it? It was my package." Yeah, I actually think I might know that guy. If socialists understood economics, they wouldn't be socialists. Could you even define socialism? Could you even define economics? Here, I wrote the script for this video. Also, I taught economics for a living. These are the people potentially calling the biggest moment in baseball in a long time. Raise your hand if you don't know who any of them are. Paul, we've literally hung out. Oh no. Oh no! That's so embarrassing. So embarrassing. Guy tells the inventor of the unified modeling language he doesn't know anything about UML. If you knew anything at all about UML, you'd know that this is already capable of this. Dude, I invented the UML. Thank you, Grady Booch. That's an awesome name. Tweet author gets told to check magazine that cites the very own tweet thread they're writing on. Trick I want to see. A document in a conventional format, such as PDF, which mentions its own MD5 or SHA1 hash in the text and is right. I think you should read my favorite magazine, POC//GTFO issue 0x14. You realize that's me they're citing, right? Of course not. My bad, but nice to meet you. Is it by any chance inspired by Drive By Night? I am the author of that webtoon. r/don'tyouknowwhoiam? The problem is acting like you were the original owner of the picture. If you stated in your title that it was someone else's photo, it would have been fine. Edit, my bad, OP is the original owner. But I am the original owner of the picture. I found this in the boxes I unpacked on Thursday. Fella who has a car tinted thinks he can tell me, a professional installer, about quality. Personally, I like 3M window tint, but they are expensive and lower quality than Lumar or StunTech. You would know about that lower quality. You can't afford that expensive tint. Well, I'm a professional installer, so I'm quite aware of what the quality is. As another professional installer, I will agree with Schromboy, 3M big doo-doo. Adhesive failure and discoloration way sooner than a lot of other brands. Happy Cake Day. Yeah, 3M is a great name. That's it. All the reviews I've read about 3M window tint are all positive reviews, and most people had great things to say about them. You sure you're a professional? Maybe a so-called professional who doesn't know what they're talking about. Like I said, you can't afford that expensive tint, so how would you know about 3M? Asking a journalist where you were in 2016 when the Supreme Court was on the line. Because with all due respect to Sen Feinstein, millions of Americans' rights and lives hang on who gets appointed to federal courts. Her death can make the difference between life and death, between rights and loss of rights for millions of others. That's not hyperbole. Where the hell were you in 2016? We told you MFKers that the court was on the line, so don't come now and pretend you care. One Supreme Court appointee can make a difference. The next president may have the chance to fundamentally remake the court for decades beyond his or her time in office. August 17, 2015. Ashton Pittman. That's the guy who's tweeting. Twitter user explains what being the chess world champion is like to Gary Kasparov. Carlsen's withdrawal was a blow to chess fans, his colleagues at the tournament, the organizers, and, as the rumors and negative publicity swirl in a vacuum, to the game. The world title has its responsibilities, and a public statement is the least of them here. Those players that become world champion experience some shattering pressure and mental strain. It takes toll. Sometimes they want to move on and do other things. Remember Bobby Fischer or the dude who defeated USSR? Methinks they have a right to live and be happy. Oh, Tony Hawk! Oh boy. Waiting in line at passport control. Europe travel is chaos right now, FYI. Guy in next lane. Hey, I live right by you in Maryland. Me. I live in San Diego. Oh, I thought you were that motocross guy, Travis Pastrana. Me. I'm a skateboarder. My name is Tony. Him. I was close. The TPM has nothing to do with secure boot. You can reset it to get access to the setup mode, to use SBCTL and enroll your own keys. There is literally an option in your UEFI nowadays to do so. You're arguing with the guy who made the tool you're talking about. Arguing with a doctor about whether it's ghosts or anemia causing bruises, using The Conjuring to back it up being ghosts. Right, it could have then materialized as a medical issue. I'd say think of The Conjuring when she got bruises, went to the doctor, and they told her it was an iron deficiency or something like that. But it's very similar as far as topic goes, lol. Please do not take health advice from The Conjuring. And who are you to tell me where I can pull my examples from, lol? You act like I'm a diagnosing person. It's an example, please. I'm a doctor. First conversation at the conference. Where have you traveled from? Croydon. Which constituency? Croydon Central. Oh, trying to remember who the MP is there. Me. Oh, Elon Musk doesn't know who Gary Kasparov is. Ukraine-Russia peace. Redo elections of annexed regions under UN supervision. Russia leaves if that is the will of the people. This is moral idiocy. Repetition of Kremlin propaganda, a betrayal of Ukrainian courage and sacrifice, and puts a few minutes browsing Crimea on Wikipedia over the current horrific reality of Putin's bloody war. We gave Starlinks to Ukraine and lost $80 million+ in doing so, while putting SpaceX and myself at serious risk of Russian cyber attacks. What have you done besides tweet? I think Gary knows a little bit about putting himself at risk. Say it with me, everybody! Elon Musk is a stupid bitch. Twitter user corrects famed author William Gibson about books he wrote, and he suggests he check his sources. I'm not reading all that. It was hot the night we burned Wintermute. It was hot the night we burned Chrome was the opening line to Burning Chrome. Wintermute was a character in another novel by the same author. I suggest you check your sources. All right, brother. You idiot.